Good evening and welcome to the first episode of The Truth in the Youth. My name is Neelesh Pillai and I'm honoured to be your host. We will be discussing with leading professionals how we can inspire, empower and embark on journeys with the youth. Today I am privileged and very excited to be joined by the one and only Mr. Andrew Pizzino. He will be discussing real estate with us today. Thank you for coming along, Andrew.
Thanks for having me, Neelesh. I'm honoured to be sitting here personally.
Yeah, of course. You have always been a close acquaintance of mine and a mentor, to say the least.
Thank you.
So, crazy thought is that we actually met this week 3 years ago.
Are you serious?
3 years ago, mate.
Oh,
Time flies, eh?
Yeah.
Halloween, eh?
Yep.
So, let's get started. Tell us a bit about yourself. What is it that you do? What's inspiring you every day to get out of bed? And just enlighten me.
Oh, thanks, Neelesh. Yeah. So I'm a buyer's agent. I own and founded a buyer's agency called GYDA, which is a bit of a play on words for being your personal property guider in real estate and for purchasers. So I have a team of 8. I have buyer's agents in the Gold Coast, Brisbane, north side of Brisbane and Moreton Bay, and also one up in far north Queensland.
Yeah, right.
And we predominantly focus on helping home buyers buy their first homes or upgrade their homes as well. So in our space, there's a lot of buyers agents who focus on investors and helping investors get ahead, whereas we try and be a bit more personal and help the everyday person into their new home or their next home. I guess for inspiration, it's just about helping clients. I know that sounds really cliche, but honestly, it's just the satisfaction you get out of telling someone, you know, we've got you into your first property.
Yeah, definitely.
And seeing their reaction, it's such a great feeling to be able to help them achieve that. And that is actually one of the reasons I chose to be on the buy side rather than the sell side, because of the emotive, not only the emotive response you get out of people, but being part of that positive energy, because helping someone into their home, it can only ever really be a positive thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen some of your photos that you post on Instagram and the families faces when they buy their first home. It just looks like such a rewarding feeling and you're really giving back, and it's one of those things, So young families, you got a young family yourself and
Indeed.
you can just imagine, how the parents must feel. And yeah, I just couldn't describe it.
And and even this week just gone, I mean, initially I'd spoken to the mother of my client and she reached out to me to help me buy for her son, and we just settled his property on Friday gone.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it was great to see Jake. I mean, that was a long time coming, that deal, a lot of nuanced things happening to help him into that property. We had to wait 4 months to get a contract on that for different circumstances, which are quite out of the ordinary, to be fair. But yeah, the fact that he was able to hold on, trust in us to help deliver what he wanted. And I mean, he got a sensational result.
Yeah, awesome.
And we will get into deals and stuff later, I'm sure. But to get him something so far under market value in such a hot market, he's cheering, and we've set him up to go on and on for his next as well.
Awesome stuff, mate. Awesome stuff.
Beautiful.
So kind of walk me through your journey into real estate, because I think young people, they hear real estate and that's really in their face, and also they think it's oversaturated. So kind of just walk me through what kind of led you to real estate,
Yeah, no, it was completely out of the blue. I never wanted to be a real estate agent.
Yeah.
I never knew what a buyer's agent was, because that's only, even though there have been buyer's agents around for a very long time, it's only really become a thing the past kind of 2 to 3 years, more so than the past kind of 10, 15.
Yeah, well, the first time I heard buyer's agent was from you.
Yeah.
So to speak. So
just to the point, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So to get into real estate, I was working retail for a long time, working through different diplomas at TAFE, different degrees at university, and even through school, always working retail jobs. And throughout that retail journey, I'd come across, different real estate professionals who'd offer to take me under their wing and bring me in. But the stigma about being a real estate agent, a sales agent especially, it was one that didn't appeal to me. And I never really took a step back to understand what that would look like from a financial point of view, because I was never chasing money.
So the stigma being
that sleazy sales agent everyone referred to with commission breath.
Exactly.
And, just the stereotypical sales agent that, people often describe. I never really took a step back to understand what that would look like from a financial point of view, because I never chased money. I only chased happiness, which is why I was happy to put that aside and chase my career in music.
Yeah.
You know, doing 2 diplomas, you know, reaching the pinnacle of what I felt was, you know, tertiary education, getting into the, you know, the conservatorium of music.
Yeah, that's right. And music's really been your passion, isn't it?
100%.
And that's kind of how we met, you know?
100%.
If I can go on this tangent of how
please,
we cross paths.
Please.
So, once upon a time, 3 years ago, I used to throw parties as a little side hustle. And 1 week before my Halloween party, on Halloween week, my DJ decided to cancel on me, which, you know, is fun for anyone throwing an event on Halloween week.
Event like you did.
Yeah,
it was big, man.
Oh, it was crazy. So I remember I got the text from my DJ and he said, "Oh, I can't make the event, or my, I don't know, something about the software being expired." And I said, "That's a terrible excuse."
Wow.
So you can imagine me, right? Few days before Halloween weekend, where the hell am I going to find a DJ? So what I did was that whole afternoon, nothing else mattered. No assignment, no sport, nothing, you know. My house was on fire. That didn't bloody matter. It was finding a DJ for this party. So I looked up Brisbane, Gold Coast, Southeast Queensland, basically, Sunshine Coast, whatever it was, DJ. I made a list of whatever it was, a few hundred. I went through every single phone number that was there, crossed them out. No, mate, I'm busy. No, mate, too far, blah, blah, blah. Finally, I came across you. He said, "Hey, mate, how are you?" I said, "Bro, I need a DJ ASAP. Can you do it for me?" "Yeah, mate. Yeah, I just need this much cash in hand, done." And then you showed up. I remember you were wearing your orange T-shirt with your pumpkins on it and your cap.
Halloween themed.
Themed, as always. And, yeah, friendship started from there. You were so easy to work with. You were professional. Anything I asked for, anything you asked for, we tried to help each other out. It was great. It was, you know, and look, here we are now.
Yeah, no, it's great, man.
Friendship has continued.
Dynamic just straight off the bat. I mean, you know, you're a young guy. You're still a very young guy as well. At the time, only 16. I was in awe of what you'd put together.
Oh, thank you.
That was a great party. Like, for anyone listening, it wasn't just a party. Slap it together, get a few mates over. There was a lot of time and effort put into booking that space, getting the right people there, getting the entertainers in, not just me being the DJ, but very well thought out, very well planned, very safe party. The moment it became unsafe, boom, that's it. You shut it down.
Yeah, safety comes first always, you know, 100%. No matter what.
And everyone had a ball.
Yeah, no, it was great. People still come up to me in the street today, you know. But yeah, you know, on to new things.
It's an event. I'd definitely classify it as an event. I don't want people to get the wrong idea labeling it as a party, because you definitely threw an event, man.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Wild. Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that, you know, musician.
Yep.
That's how I first met you.
Yep.
Then I don't think we talked for about a year. Just, you know, life gets busy.
Each other
life
on
gets
social
busy.
Media kept track, kept up to date. Yep.
And then we got in contact again, and you said you're a buyer's agent.
Yeah.
And then we started going to a few business events together. Yep. And we realized that, you know, it's this could probably go somewhere. And I was very eager to learn more so what a buyer's agent entails.
Yes.
Because like yourself, once upon a time, real estate to me is just, you're a real estate agent, you're a cocky guy at the door, you know, you deal with this many people, that many people, but the way you've described it, just even in the intro, was that you work very closely with your clients, and it's about, you know, finding their dreams. Yeah. You know, like I think it was Mark Boris, he described once about meeting Kerry Packer when he first started Wizard Home Loans, and he discussed that what is your business? And he said, "Oh, it's home loans." And he said, "Son, what is your business?" He's like, "Home loans." He said, "Mate, you're in the business of chasing dreams," or something along those lines. You know, it's the emotion you give your clients, and that's one day I hope to achieve that, you know, that rewarding feeling of, you know, helping another individual.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even need to be on such a grand scale. Like, I know you personally, you are helping people already. I mean, the businesses you've had, what was the one you did with the potatoes and the spirals?
Uncle and I,
yeah, mate, you're feeding people, you're giving back to the community, you're making it available, and you're giving a great service at the meantime. So, mate, there's every opportunity to give back. I think at the end of the day, you know, if you solve big problems, you make big money. Yeah. So that's kind of what leveled me up to want to become where I am, because I realized in the DJ business, although that business didn't run for a whole lot of time, and that was due to COVID, it's just the fact that I came to recognize that, if we did, 30ths or 40ths, you could make a small fee, but if you did events, you'd make a bigger fee. But did weddings, I could offer a whole day entertainment service, a full package to really give back it and be the theme for that day, play the theme songs that everyone was going to remember, to give that event and that wedding the vibe that couple wanted, and again level up with the financial returns I was going to get.
Yeah, right.
But it was about the couple, and it was doing what was right for them. I mean, a lot of DJs will go and just play at the ceremony, whereas the ones who are a bit more astute at business understand that, hey, they can run the sound for the ceremony itself, play some music beforehand, play the songs on cue while the MC is doing their bit, or the celebrant rather. And then while they're signing the registry, I mean, all those little things, they all add up, showing attention to detail, because if the celebrant was to run the sound, 9 times out of 10, it's not as good. The PA is not as good. They don't get the songs on cue. There's no music leading up to the event. There's nothing while they're walking, after they walk down the aisle, together between the ceremony and the reception. You keep the groove going and you build the day that way into the reception at the end, where you really, blow everyone away on the dance floor when the night ends.
Definitely. Any song you got sick of hearing at every single wedding?
I've got a playlist on my DJ computer called Say Cheese.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all the cheese you'd hear at every wedding, like, YMCA, Macarena, the ketchup song.
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, Sweet Caroline. Yep.
Oh, gimme. I'm thinking of all the songs I hear at the nightclubs.
Yep.
At least 3 times in one night.
Yep. But to answer your question before, to get me here where I am, I guess what happened was with the DJ business, going into COVID, I was lucky enough to dabble in car sales for a little bit, just to test the waters while I was growing the DJ business, because obviously I had a bit more time during the week to fill out while the business was growing. And off the back of that, I had an old friend from school pull me into new home sales.
Okay. And
I personally think anyone looking to get into real estate, starting in new home sales is a great place to start.
And new home sales is...
So new home sales is working directly for a builder.
Yep.
And understanding how to design that house from the ground up.
Okay.
So the product knowledge you get is second to none, because you're literally putting the house together in readiness for the builders to take over the plans and start building the house.
So you're working with, so it's a block of land, you're designing it with the builder.
Yep. So working for the builder directly. There's a lot of people you'll meet who are marketeers, and they're getting stock from developers and selling them as house and land packages. So that's an already done product that they're just trying to find buyers for. Whereas working for the builder directly, it was, again, a lot more personal, because people would come into the display home. I worked in a few different display villages throughout southeast Queensland, Greenbank, Springfield, and then on the north side of Brisbane through Newport, for example. And people would come in and say, hey, look, I've got this much money to spend on the build. I've got my block of land. I want a house that's 3-bed plus a media or 4-bed plus a media with a butler's pantry. Give me all their specifications. And it was challenging because the builder that I worked for was a custom home builder. So I had to learn to design the floor plan based on the land layout itself and fit everything into this small home, because initially the people that I was, the clientele themselves, they only had smaller budgets. It was more of a family builder with people looking to build smaller homes of around 180 to maybe 250 square meters.
Yeah, right.
And those clients typically want everything that the people spending more money want, but in a smaller size floor plan.
Okay.
So putting the puzzle pieces together to get that right for them, that was a huge challenge.
Right.
Putting the blocks and rooms and everything in place.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's,
So, I mean, even now, if you look around the room, what can you see? You can see flooring, you can see wall fittings, you can see cornices, you can see doors. I mean, that's only labeling it less than a handful of items that comprise of a home. If you think about the cornices in the corner of the room here, how many different styles of cornices are there? 10, 20, 50? How many different types of flooring are there? I mean, pretty much limitless in today's marketplace. So understanding and getting the product knowledge from the ground up on top of designing the home gave me a really great basis to become a real estate agent later. Even though I did a bit of selling and I'm a buyer's agent now, I can talk about homes in a completely different context to 99% of other agents generally.
Yeah, right. So that's just basically on a deeper level, really knowing the product you're selling.
The product, exactly.
You know, and wow, you think about all the professions that go into it, all the different trades.
Exactly.
And stuff. And I think people need to realize that just how much goes into something like a house.
Yeah.
How many different professions, trades, and I feel like the trades are falling off actually amongst my peers. I think less and less fellas are getting into trades, and a lot of the tradesmen, the older fellas are saying that, you know, we're getting less and less apprentices every year. So
yeah, from the stats I've seen, that's
very
not
too sure, but that's what I've heard. So
yep. And it's the industry professionals as well.
Yeah.
I mean, when I moved on to the next builder that I worked for, they were a larger custom knockdown rebuild specialist.
Yeah.
So I went from designing homes on nice flat little parcels of land, more cookie cutter stuff, to learning how to design, 300, 400, 450 square meter homes on complex sites that were irregular shaped blocks, sloping blocks, flooded sites. And then you needed to work alongside town planners, building certifiers, hydraulic engineers, acoustic engineers, to get across all these different elements that are required to, be aligned with to be able to deliver those homes on those blocks in a city.
Has the real estate agent profession in stats gone up over the years? Like, is it oversaturated, do you think?
It fluctuates with the market.
Okay.
Yeah. And
because I'm just thinking, does the glorified image of a real estate agent overpower a tradie's image? And more people want to get into that because of the, like the kind of Wolf of Wall Street persona, and it looks glorified.
I think so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially with social media now, every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
All the real estate TikTokers, they just, they open the house and they got this, sparkling white teeth and blonde hair, and it just looks glamorous.
Yep, smiling ear to ear on the bus stops.
Yeah, definitely. So,
I think being a sales agent is, it's tough.
Yeah, right.
It actually really is tough. Like, apart from what you see online, which is all the glitz and glamour, I mean, being able to convince someone to place their trust in you to transact their most valuable asset is a big deal.
Yeah.
The relationship you need to create with that person to build that trust, that's huge. So agents starting out, it's a very the industry itself, it has a lot of people who come and go regularly. It's just how it is, because people walk in thinking it's going to be easy, but at the end of the day, you got to work hard to get your market share there. And it's actually one of the reasons I became a buyer's agent. And even though I dabbled in sales, didn't really like going that way, because, man, you got to work from like 7 or 7 every day, maybe more, to get seen.
What was kind of a point of difference that you personally put in that differs you from other agents, do you think?
With respect to buying where I am now?
Yeah.
Yep. So my biggest selling point as a business is the fact that we try and do wholesale transactions rather than just buying through real estate agents.
Right.
So most buyers agents, when they deliver their service, they're basing their pitch on the fact that they have so many relationships with so many different sales agents that they'll get stock first, pre-market, off-market, and get those opportunities. But the problem now is that even the buyer's agent space is becoming saturated, especially in cities like Brisbane and throughout Logan and Gold Coast.
Yeah.
That those relationships, even though they hold weight, they're not always putting you in the best stead to get the deal, because there's that many other buyer's agents giving the same pitch.
Yeah.
So I don't know of anyone else in Queensland doing this. I met one other person in Australia that does what I do in Melbourne. And it really surprises me that no other buyer's agents are really structuring their business model this way. But I was surprised I met someone from Melbourne doing it this way. It was cool to see someone else thinking outside the box as well. But essentially what I do is I try and do the work of a sales associate that is going out to try and get listing opportunities. But as a buyer's agent, instead of listing them and bringing them to market, I know that I have a buyer that I'm representing who wants to buy that property. So I bring the deal to them exclusively.
Yeah, awesome.
So no real estate agent, no sales agent.
Yeah, that's the way. So the next thing I wanted to dive into was more so the education around real estate.
Yep.
You know, when I was in high school, I don't even remember the thought of it coming up. You know, the topic of real estate never came up in high school because it was all, you know, the basic, you know, maths and English and financial literacy, excuse me, just wasn't even spoken about. And if it was spoken about, it was in essential maths, which not a lot of kids did, which would be taxes, or you did compound interest,
Right.
which was very, very, you know, it was a very small amount. But they never even spoke about what a mortgage was or interest rates and fluctuating interest rates. They mentioned it in economics, but with respect to practical housing market, they never even spoke to us about the GFC, you know? So things like that, like it's such a big part of everyday life, you know, tax returns and
real world stuff.
yeah, just practical stuff that is going to impact us on a massive scale. It impacts our families, our grandparents, you know, just what do you think is being missed out in the education system now? That's just we need to hear. Just basic stuff.
Pretty much all the stuff that you were just alluding to there. I mean, seeing what I'm seeing online. I mean, I'm a big fan of TikTok. I love the app.
Yeah.
I've learned so much from TikTok,
Yeah.
and you know, I think it's very misunderstood. The business content I've gotten from TikTok and just a lot of the new world stuff and the progressive stuff that people are just so far behind the eight ball who aren't on TikTok, keeping up with trending things that are extremely relevant. So one of the things I'm seeing on there especially is this pushback towards traditional education, in the sense that a lot of the stuff and the means of teaching is all being broken down by AI, by the interpretations they can accept through different AI models and reprocess the information and absorb it in a heartbeat, as opposed to needing to sit there and study for hours on end, grind it out week after week. They can absorb it in half a day or a day, which is like a whole semester's worth of work. So I think that's obviously case by case, you know, each degree differs. I wouldn't have been able to do that with my music degrees because it's so practical.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's a creative part of you. I don't think that can be rare. You know, as someone who plays piano and loves all music, I don't think that can be replicated.
Exactly.
That's a personal human thing, and that can't be.
I think bringing it full circle, that the education system is going to need to change because of the way the youth are now absorbing information and education. And its delivery is going to need to be altered to keep up with the times. And with that, a lot of the essentials that you were talking about before, you know, basic math, or even getting through English and stuff like that, it's only the way I see it going is it's only going to become a smaller part of what's taught, because it's going to be able to be absorbed and regurgitated that much quicker and easier through the means of learning, that they're going to have to start branching out into the stuff you were talking about, like mortgages, taxes.
They definitely need
stuff.
to implement all this kind of stuff come in.
Because
if they haven't noticed already, the kids aren't really listening to the teachers. They're listening to the people on their phone and Instagram, and, you know, they got their influences and who they listen to. You know, they got their loyalties, so to speak. So I think that needs to be altered in terms of education. And I agree with you completely. Social media isn't evil, because, you know, people don't have websites anymore. They got Instagram accounts, which links to, you know, if they got a website, then they'll link to that. But majority of the time, the marketing, the sales, it's all done. All the brand awareness is social media. So that's just the way the world works now. You know, take it or leave it. That's kind of what people got to understand. Like 100%. Anything, there's going to be pros and cons, and that's just a matter of the management regulating that, as well as the government. So
I mean, everything's cyclical. People are saying, "Oh, AI is going to take our jobs. AI is going to take our jobs." Well, it will. It will replace some jobs. It's just no ifs or buts about it. I mean, you know, being a musician, studying music, the history of music, you know, it was, you know, gramophones are going to take our jobs. They're recording music and replicating it. And then, you know, in the 70s, 80s, the synthesizer is going to take our jobs. You press a button and it creates a song. It's like, well,
it's just a matter of adapting, right? It's just a matter of adapting to innovation. Which creates new jobs.
Exactly right. So it's the way we implement AI and how we choose to use it.
Exactly. So that's kind of, you know, school systems in terms of real estate. But if a young guy, for example, wasn't sure, he definitely wants to get into the market and he thinks real estate is becoming an agent, what are some kind of first job things? So say he didn't have the grades to get into uni, but he still wanted to get into real estate. So is there a TAFE degree he could take, or is it something, a small course, or just working his way into a firm, kind of just doing side work?
Yeah, I mean, I'll speak to Queensland because it is different state to state.
Yep.
Personally, I'm a big advocate for getting into new home sales. So becoming an associate to a lead sales agent in new home sales and learning the ropes there, you'll learn so much about not only the product, but negotiations. Personally, I found in new home sales and being a knockdown rebuild specialist, that job was 100 times harder than what I'm doing now.
Yeah, right.
100 times. Like, I'm not even exaggerating.
Well,
that job was so hard. I built my roots. Yeah. I loved it. I learned so much in the problem-solving challenges. I would literally sit there at a floor plan, staring at it for half an hour before I made a move.
You got a good story for me?
Good story? For
yeah,
new home
something that you learned or something that just stuck with you.
Well, I mean, the first story would be my first day on the job, getting thrown in the deep end in the busiest display village in Queensland with no training and being told to sink or swim.
Yeah.
that was crazy. That was a crazy experience. I mean, I pride myself on being great at my work and great at what I do, but getting thrown in the deep end like that with absolutely no product knowledge, it was...
Well, you survived, it looks like, so I think you'll be all right. Yeah.
Yep. But with regards to real estate, if you didn't want to go through that side of construction and new home sales, I mean, a lot of people do start as property managers and assistants to property managers.
Yeah, right.
That is a very tough gig.
Okay.
Very tough. Long hours, unrewarding work. You're constantly in the grind. I mean, if you look at it from an objective point of view, can I swear on this? Or
Yeah.
You're in the middle of a shit sandwich.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, you've got the landlords saying, hey, get me more rent. You got the tenants saying, this place sucks, fix this stuff up.
Yeah, right.
And it's a thankless job because you're trying to keep two unhappy parties happy.
Sounds like a law degree.
Probably, yep. So, I mean, a lot of people work their way in that way because people are always looking for property managers and assistants in that space. And then once you become known to the company, or the agency you're working for, rather, that's when you can start branching out, maybe dabbling in sales. A lot of agencies now are getting buyer's agents in-house and just working your way up that way.
Yeah, right. Okay. So that's getting into the market. Now I'm going to hit you with something that I've heard a million times from my peers. I'm sure it was a big part of the last election, federal election for PM. It was first home buyers, first investment properties, young people getting into the market and buying that first property. What are your thoughts? How can we do it in simple terms, please?
Yeah, this is tough. I think my thoughts generally are everyone should be investing in a market, whether that's the real estate market or the stock market or some type of market where your money is making money for you. As long as you're investing, I don't care if it's real estate or not.
Yeah.
Obviously, the right answers people would think for me to say is, you got to be in real estate. You got to buy real estate. I don't think that at all because real estate isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
A lot of people are either, stocks or real estate. Obviously, crypto's super popular as well.
And what are your thoughts on crypto?
I hold a bit of crypto.
Yeah.
Personally, I've always just bought to hold. I haven't traded.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of people go wrong.
Yeah. Otherwise I feel like I'm gambling,
Yeah.
I want to, look at it as an investment, but, that's all personal to people. They hold it very dear to them. Likewise with stocks.
Yep.
I try and look at it like the Warren Buffett way.
Yep.
Just hold and let it be in the background while you work on your other things.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. So I've only ever bought to hold. I think as long as you start learning the fundamentals of investing, that's what's going to set you apart because saving your money, it's just not going to get you there. It's well reported and all the figures are out there to back that up, 100-fold. So with regards to real estate though, I mean, if someone really did want to get into real estate, there's so many opportunities. I think people don't know about, and they don't broaden their horizons enough to see that there are so many opportunities where you don't necessarily have to buy your own house to get into the market. So things like, I mean, the easiest one you could do basically for free, and again, it hasn't got anywhere near the attention that it should, is Airbnb arbitrage.
Yep.
And I know last time we caught up, I was enlightening you a little bit about how this works.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm by no means an expert in this space, but as someone who does run an Airbnb personally, I know a little bit about it, enough to be comfortable talking about it.
Yeah.
So you do need to read the legislation and make sure you're running it above board, because you can get into big trouble if you don't set it up correctly and structure it correctly.
Okay.
But essentially the premise is leasing other people's properties to then let on short-term rental platforms like Airbnb and Booking.com.
Yep.
So it can be a startup that costs almost nothing, and I say almost because you have to come up with a couple of weeks rent or whatever it might be.
Yeah, right. There's some capital required, like anything.
Very, very minimal. I mean, to put it into context, I looked at taking on a second property a couple of months ago, and I came across a furnished apartment in Spring Hill.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to buy any furniture. I didn't have to buy washing machines, fridges, nothing.
Good stuff.
The place was furnished. $330 a week is what I could have let it for. So it was a 1 bed, 1 bath, no car space, but being in Spring Hill, the car space wasn't necessary because of access to public transport.
Yeah.
$330 per week. If I took the lease on that and then had permission to put it on Booking.com or Airbnb and those platforms, I would make at least $150 a night, probably $250 on a Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah, right. So what? 2 nights a year in profit already.
Exactly.
2 days a week. You got.
If I'm paying a lease of $330, I don't have the body corporate responsibility. I don't have a lot of the utilities that I've got to pay for. Some, of course, electricity, maybe water usage, depending. But $330 a week, and I'm making $1,000 a week, I'm probably still taking home at least $500 in the pocket.
So really, you're a middleman for the guy that owns it and the guy who's having a holiday.
Yeah, but the landlords love you.
There's something happening there.
Because they know it's being taken care of, it's being cleaned
You're
regularly.
cleaning it?
You get cleaners and the cleaning fee and whatnot that's worked into the Airbnb fee. Right. So you're not out of pocket for cleaning.
So are you managing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
can, or you can even get a specialist manager and wipe your hands of it completely. So,
right. No, that's great.
Yeah,
and
so
I don't think that's talked about enough as well.
Exactly.
You're the first person I've heard that from.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, again, on TikTok, like I said, I love TikTok. I've seen 1 or 2 people do it. No one in Brisbane, but a couple of people talk about it there. But that's, again, very rare.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, the startup cost, it's got to be less than $1,000 to get into that. I mean, if you can't get $1,000 together to get a project like that on board, then I mean, you just got to knuckle down just that little bit more, because it wouldn't take someone much to save $1,000, even given the current climate of the economy.
Yeah, yeah.
But $1,000 down, you could potentially be making $500 a week going forward from there, and that's just one property.
Yeah,
yeah.
Rental arbitrage. Remember it, guys.
Yeah,
I definitely will.
Rental arbitrage and Airbnb arbitrage.
Okay.
Probably a better key search word.
Airbnb arbitrage.
Because rental arbitrage does exist as well.
Yeah.
But it's about renting the rooms individually of a bigger house.
All right. So that's a bit different, is it?
A little bit different.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's, you got to rent the whole house and then individual rooms to students or.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, depending. That's another way. Probably a touch more costly, but similar concept at the end of the day.
Okay. So maybe start with Airbnb and move your way to rental.
Yeah, it just depends what you want to do. I mean, if you're good at Airbnb, get stuck into that and get more properties around Australia and start doing it.
You do the Airbnb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my property at the moment, one of mine is an Airbnb.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, they do extremely well. Very underrated, especially because there's a lot of people who need emergency stays as well.
Yeah.
So they can get booked for, weeks or months sometimes too.
Do you think the Airbnb ones properties are far better in tourist areas like Gold Coast or Brisbane City and stuff?
Everyone thought I was crazy setting up my townhouse in Carsedine as an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Said who would want to, stay in Carsedine? It's not a tourist destination. It's not particularly close to anything they could think of. But, personally, just based on experience living in the area, I knew that, there's a lot of major hospitals just down the street. There might be people coming from interstate to visit.
Yeah, right.
The access to the highway was great. Business people going to conferences, either Sunshine Coast or Gold Coast, could do that easily. proximity to the airport. It's not that far in the scheme of things, 10, 15 minutes, maybe about that. And then also you've got Boondall Entertainment Centre at the end of the road.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
no, that's right.
I mean, families from Cairns, Townsville flying in for shows.
Yeah.
So,
I guess you just got to think, eh?
Yeah, look, I'll throw some numbers out there.
Yeah.
That should have made me probably $700 a week as a normal rental.
Yeah.
So what, maybe $3,000 for the month?
Okay.
700 a week plus a couple of days because months aren't always 28 days.
Yeah.
So call it $3,000 net. Next month after all fees, I'll make $10,000.
Yeah, right. So
$7,000 difference.
Yeah, quite phenomenal returns, eh? Especially for a young person. I mean,
Yep. So there's big money in that, but I guess if someone really is holding on to the sense or the fact that they really want to own a property, rent vesting. Rent vesting is more of a new term, but it's definitely out there. It's basically just knowing where to buy a property where it's going to make you money, but still renting where you want to live for the lifestyle.
Yeah. Is there a certain way, we can kind of research and do our own kind of investigations into what properties are good? Do we just go on realestate.com or kind of suss out the prices or even ChatGPT? What do you recommend?
Yeah, 100%. But again, this is probably an area where a professional like myself would come into play.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people think that they can just buy a property and it's going to do well.
Yeah.
But the reality is there's a lot of different aspects like we've touched on already that, comprise a property. And if you don't get it right in the market we're in at the moment, you're set because stuff just keeps going up. But that's not going to last forever. And you could be stuck with a lemon you can't sell in the next 2, 3, 5 years if you ever wanted to offload it.
Yeah, right.
So to answer your question about proximity and I guess what you're alluding to is maybe data sets. You really do need to know the type of property and where to buy it. So, for example, there was another buyer's agent I met at a conference I went to last week in Sydney, and his buyer's agency is predominantly or only focused on buying properties up to the value of 400,000 only. So obviously very achievable for a lot of youth and people looking to get into the market.
Is he based in Sydney?
I think he is.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out where in Sydney you can find a place.
Well, it's not necessarily where he's based because he's buying nationwide.
Okay.
He's a borderless buyer's agent. Yeah, definitely. So he knows the type of property to buy as well as knowing where to get those yields.
Yep.
So if he's buying for something for 300,000 or 400,000, he can find you something. I mean, I can do it as well. I've just never focused on that type of market demographic. But
right.
You can buy something that's going to rent for $650 a week.
Yeah.
So it's a cash flow positive property. I mean, to be fair, I did actually buy one for a client in Perth. We bought him a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1-car apartment in West Perth for, I think it was about $460. That was renting for about $650, now $700 a week.
Yeah, nice.
And that was because of his strategy and the way he wanted to structure his portfolio, because he needed a cash flow property to free up the finances to then buy another one and potentially another one after that.
Yeah, right.
So start small is my advice. But actually a good story is a friend of mine. He does own a property already and he's actually looking to set up an Airbnb property. And he's currently looking for 1-bedders.
Yeah.
I found him a 1-bed, 1-bath in Kelvin Grove. And it's quite a nice little apartment, smaller complex. I think there's only 6 or 8 in there. And that's going to structure him well moving forward because it's a small complex. The body corporate fees are much lower. You don't have huge amenities like gyms and pools and lifts. Because when I called him today to have a chat about the property, I offered to him on Saturday. I mentioned another couple of properties that he could check out, and he goes, mate, those other 1-bedders, the body corporate was $11,000 a year.
Yeah, right.
It was going to be $250 a week just to pay the body corporate.
Yeah.
So not knowing the differences and just looking at the property saying, oh, this is a 1-bed, 1-bath, it's going to be the same as the other 1-bed, 1-bath. It's like, well, no, they're completely different product types because this is a unit complex of 8, so the fees are much, much lower. The quality of build is probably much better because they've paid more attention to detail to actually build the property, as opposed to this high density where they've had to probably rush through it to meet the deadlines. Not saying all high density are bad. There's obviously good buildings out there to buy into, but if you've got a problem in high density, There's probably 200 owners in there running that through the body corporate to get approval, to go through the approval process of the body corporate when so many more people need to sign off on it.
Yeah, right.
Rather than a couple of neighbours, you can just knock on their door and go, hey guys, I've got this water leak. Can we put this together on the body corporate and get it sorted? 200 people got to look at it.
Yeah.
Plus the exorbitant body corporate fees you're going to have to pay forever on to maintain that building, because lifts aren't cheap.
Yeah.
Those huge hotel pools aren't cheap. Car parks and basements, and I mean, it's chalk and cheese at the end of the day.
Yeah. So yeah, us young people, we don't know any of that.
Yeah.
That's where, So I think a typical mistake, not even for real estate, for anything, is we just feel like we can all do it ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't want help because we see it as a weakness. So, but I think this is one of those things you need a professional to sit us down, shut us up, and tell us what to do.
Yeah, look, it's a harsh way of putting it, but yeah, it's tough out there, man. I mean, even when you do it right, my first property that I bought, that was it was a bit over 10 years ago now.
Yeah, right.
I did everything right. My brothers, they had a little bit more experience in property than me, so I leaned on them a bit, but even still, the team around me wasn't great. They gave me advice which I probably should have went against. Yeah. And ultimately, even though I did all the checks, did the building and pest, had it all reviewed, I bought a lemon.
Yeah, right.
I bought a lemon and put my family life in jeopardy for 4 years because I bought a lemon. That's actually the reason I became a buyer's agent. So I could stop other people going through the same experience.
Yeah.
So essentially what happened was, after I was committed to the property and had done all my checks, it came to light that there was a huge water ingress issue that hadn't been disclosed. And at that stage, my solicitor was just tick and flick. He goes, there's nothing you can do about it now. You just have to sign off on it. Otherwise, they can sue you. And, made this big ordeal out of it, because it was a big ordeal for me. But ultimately, I should have taken that risk and walked away and said, mate, you guys have sold me a lemon. You didn't disclose this.
Yeah.
The building nearly got condemned.
Really?
That's how bad it was. My ceiling caved in.
And they can just sell that to you. That's not right.
Yep. 4 years of trying to go through the process of understanding which builder's going to fix it, getting quotes, understanding the extent of those quotes and which works actually needed to be done to satisfy the building insurance, as opposed to just getting done for the sake of doing it because it's old.
Yeah.
Water ran from my balcony all the way through the unit below and then into the garages below that. And I had black mold on the ceiling in my garage. The roof caved in. I mean, knowing that I just had our first baby with my wife, and knowing we could potentially have to be out on the street if we couldn't find a rental, as a man, that's very emasculating, especially. Yeah. So, I never wanted anyone to go through that. I always give my clients honest and upfront advice. Yeah. Because
definitely
that's the last thing I want for anyone.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's just terrible. Yeah. So that's good. It's good to see where you are now. You've really grown. Who am I to say this? I'm a young man, but
I've watched you grow up too, Neelesh. It's all good.
I'm just saying, you're really someone I admire,
Thank you.
You're a great mentor to me, and I really appreciate everything you've done for me. So,
and Neelesh, I've got to say, mate, I only do it because I know that you're absorbing it and you want to learn. And I think that's the basis of the whole conversation and your whole podcast is getting started is the first step to getting to wherever you want to be.
Exactly.
And I could tell you're a go-getter, mate.
Oh, thank you. And I think that's the thing young people need to understand is just getting started. Yep. Just putting one foot in front of the other. Small steps lead to big steps, which leads to something, it's a butterfly effect. It's called that for a reason, True. And I think I actually watched a reel this morning of I think Kevin Hart was on Joe Rogan, and he said he saw Jeff Bezos in a restaurant, and he said to his friend, "Oh, I want to go up and talk to him." And then his friend was like, "No, don't go talk to him." He says, "Why not? It's Jeff Bezos. He's right there. Why don't we just go talk to him?" He's like, "No, just be chill out. He might think you want something." And he's like, "Just act cool." And then he said, "Well, that's the problem. That's why no one gets started. No one goes over and talks to that guy because he's just another man. He breathes. What are you going to lose? You just want to go over and pick his brain a bit. There's one Jeff Bezos. Why not just go talk to him? Yep. Just don't let small things stop you. And I think that especially where I grew up with a lot of tall poppy syndrome. you know, where I think that needs to be shut down immediately, and young people should not be victims of tall poppy syndrome and should not be promoting tall poppy syndrome, because I think it's just not good for young people. It's a result of herd mentality, and that affects your friends, even people you think are your friends. The second they start shunning you for trying in life, cut them out of your life. You know, I don't give them a chance or two. Everyone's still growing, but you do not need that negative energy in your life.
Yeah, people are scared to try.
Yeah, why be scared? Be excited. Fail forward. You know, there's only one way you learn.
Yeah, what do they say? There's no losing, only learning.
Yeah, right. That's good. That's good to hear. Is that going to be your ending quote?
We have to end it here already. I was having so much fun.
No. We one more thing. We'll get before we end briefly. I just want to get one final message for the youth in terms of starting their investments and kind of changing their way of thinking from just being a kid into responsible adult decisions.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, with respect to real estate, don't listen to the media hype. Don't get sucked into it.
One thing I wanted to ask you, sorry, before we get into that, is there's a few online influencers, especially in real estate.
Yep.
A lot of them phonies, or do you I don't want to get you in trouble for saying the wrong thing, but one guy who I always hear young people talk about, he's very famous. He's been around forever, but I think they harness his message wrong. It's Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh, okay.
So he always talks about debt is good and school's useless. So then I've seen guys, they drop out of school and they live a bit of a lazy lifestyle, and they're like, oh, but Robert Kiyosaki said school's bad, and Steve Jobs dropped out of uni and did acid and all these things. And I'm like, you're taking the message wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
It was all a journey. I mean, they knew roughly where they were going, and doing what they did only led them to be better at what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I remember Steve Jobs talking about walking into different classes at university just randomly. Yeah. And walking into it was like a typography class or something where they taught you about different fonts. Yeah. And I remember him saying if he never walked into that class, his Macs wouldn't have had the range of fonts that they did, and it would have even considered making different fonts available on the platform itself. Yeah. So just being open to different ideas, I think, is more so the point, as opposed to, oh, school sucks, I'm going to drop out. It's like, well, where are you going? I mean,
exactly.
There was times when I probably was in between jobs. I think when I moved back from overseas, I decided that I had a little bit of money behind me and I wasn't going to work. And I mean, that got boring real quick. When you don't feel needed, when you don't feel useful, when you're just sitting there watching the same crap on TV day in, day out. Barely lasted a week, and I was just like, I can't do this. I need to do something with my life. Yeah. And genuinely, even now, if I had all the money in the world, I'd still want to do something. I'd still probably be doing what I'm doing. Yeah. So, with regards to investments and property, I just think you need to invest. Yeah. Whether it's property or something else, start small. I mean, you touched on Warren Buffett before, Jordan Belfort, love him or hate him. They had the same anecdote anyway, and that was, even if you just put $50 in the S&P 500 every week or every fortnight or every month, it's going to compound. You don't need to get in your own head about what stock's going to do this and that, or whether property's going to go sideways or up. Yeah. You just need to start investing a little bit. S&P 500, by the sounds of things, is a good way to do it, just to get you in the market at least. Actually, I heard a stat earlier, a couple of hours ago before coming in, and they said, youth is your best friend with regards to investing because of the way it compounds. If you put $250 a week or a month into the S&P 500, by the time you retire, it's like $3 million right there. Yeah. So compounding interest, do the math. I haven't done the math on that, so you probably need to fact check me there.
That's okay.
Basically, just get into some market and just be consistent with it. Yeah. So real estate, you got options. Yeah. There's lots of different options. You don't need to buy your family home straight away.
Real estate will always be there.
Yeah, exactly.
One of those things,
So
it's the land.
In my view, there will always be a market in real estate to buy into that will do well.
Okay.
It's knowing the professional to go to learn and understand where that is, as opposed to getting fixated on Southeast Queensland or Sydney or Melbourne. I mean, when the time's right and you decide you do really want to invest in real estate, we'll find the market that's right for you to buy into to get the growth, to get you to where you want to be. But at the same time, my philosophy as a buyer's agent is going direct to owner to buy under market value from day dot anyway, and get you the growth immediately, as opposed to looking for data.
And be cautious of all the...
Be cautious.
Yeah, they call it the jungle for a reason.
There you go.
You know, any market they'll call the jungle.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. It's been great. Can I have any quote? A quote that the youth want to hear, and a quote that stuck with you, something you learnt, anything.
A quote. Wow. Oh, really put me on the spot there, mate.
That's all right.
I've got one. Oh, man.
Take your time.
I guess it's probably not the exact quote, but in the same type of words. If you solve big problems, you'll make big money.
Okay. Love it. Love it to leave it, people. All right, Andrew, thanks for coming on. You know, I'd like to have you on again. Keep discussing, grow off what we do.
Anytime, Neelesh.
Yeah, thanks a lot, eh? Come check out GYDA Buyer Properties.
GYDA Buyers Agency.
Buyers Agencies, excuse me.
GYDA.com, GYDA.com.
That's it. That's the one. And how big's your team again?
8 at the moment.
8. And when did you start it?
Launched the brand in January.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big growth. 8.
Thanks, man.
No, I was gonna say that earlier. 8 from January is pretty. We're in October now for people listening, so that's pretty damn good.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'll see you next time.
Thanks, Neelesh.
Cheers, man.